Hey YouTube, so I had my SRS consultation with Dr. McGinn earlier this week, or I guess last week now, and I wanted to make a video kind of sharing how the experience went, what to expect, and then also give some insights into seeing her with insurance, because now I completely understand why her office is reluctant to work with insurance providers. Needless to say, they don't make it very easy on you. But anyway, so my company, for background, provides transgender benefit insurance, so for both top and bottom surgery. But you have to go through some hoops in order to kind of get there. And for additional kind of making it interesting is the fact that the company is going through quite a bit of change right now. And while it's kind of, you would think the benefits won't change, that's not necessarily a given at this point. And so, while you would hope to have the benefit there in 2014, it's very much a plan for the worst, hope for the best kind of thing, because postponing till 2014 and then finding out that the benefit isn't there, that's a pretty big financial hit, instead of having insurance cover it. And I think because the holiday season tends to be pretty slow in corporate America, like that's a very good time to kind of squeeze it in, I think. But, so I originally had my consultation scheduled for November 11th, sort of realized that all this change was going on that could potentially impact my benefits. So I asked what was the lead time between the consultation and surgery, and it turns out that that is actually somewhere like 3 to 6 months on average, because you have to maybe get your BMI down, you have to quit smoking, there are things that you have to do, you have to get your 2 therapist letters, things like that. And so I was like, well, November 11th means that I won't be able to do it until early 2014 at the soonest, which is when I was originally planning on it. But I asked if they had any cancellations, and sure enough they did. So it worked out. I was able to get an appointment this past week instead. Fly out and see them, do the awkward kind of dropping your pants so that she can scope out what she's working with, go through the medical history, sexual history, things like that, mental history, all those, how long have you been on hormones, how long have you been presenting female, all of that stuff. And then I stayed with a friend and flew back the next morning for work. And so I was able to really just kind of squeeze this in, work remotely, and not really kind of impact anything to go out there and see her. And so that's one of the perks, I guess, of coming out to my manager and saying, hey, I'd like to work remotely because this came up. She was actually the one who suggested that I try to get it done this year if at all possible, because we won't know what happens to benefit for next year. So it's very nice that she is looking out for me, I guess. But then in terms of the insurance, I'm working on that at the same time because Dr. McGinn is not an in-network provider. So you have to get an out-of-network exception form filled out, get some codes done so that the insurance company will say you can go see her, and then after that you have to have a predetermination of benefits. So just like you have to qualify for surgery with Dr. McGinn, you have to qualify for surgery with your insurance. You have to do all that same stuff, get those 2 letters, things like that, but show it to your insurance company so they can say, yes, this benefit is approved, you have the condition, and then you have to get the doctor's office to actually fill out the pre-authorization, so the hospital information, things like that, for when the surgery actually finally takes place. And then you have to do a lot of that again for the top surgery if you want it, but I think because that's a little bit more common, probably find an in-network provider to do that. You would think, who knows though. And if I can get that done this year, then with insurance, you can save on the deductible because you can reach your out-of-pocket maximum for the year with one of the two surgeries, and then basically get the other one for free. So it's a little bit, I guess, more grueling to do multiple surgeries in basically the next 5.5 months, but it's definitely the more affordable way to do it. Get it all out of the way, and then basically start 2014 kind of on the tail end of transition, basically being done with it. Yeah, so I guess there's probably a lot of questions. Feel free to leave them in the comments, and I will continue to talk about this as I start to sort out what's going on with my insurance, because there's a whole bunch of things that have to happen there, and then as I get closer to the surgery, I'm sure I will have a lot more to talk about.